Welcome! Today we're diving into one of the coolest and honestly most unique companion systems I've ever seen in a tabletop game, the fate-bound ally from Continuum Wars.
So let me ask you this. What if your companion wasn't just some animal you tamed or a spirit you summoned? What if it was a literal, physical extension of who you are? A being that actually reflects your personality, your skills, maybe even your conscience? Well, that's exactly what a fate-bound ally, or FBA, is all about.
The game book itself puts it perfectly. These are not your traditional familiars. They're born from your character's own potential, usually at a really pivotal moment of growth. They are, quite literally, a living, breathing reflection of your character's journey. So, a living reflection. What does that actually mean when you're playing the game? It means your FBA has your character's core identity baked right into it. Their personality, their alignment, the works. This isn't just a pet, you guys. It's a partner, it's a guide, and sometimes, yeah, it's the voice of your own conscience talking right back at you.
To really get how this all works, we're going to follow an example from start to finish. Let's meet Samantha. She's a level 4 mage, and she's just had this big moment of self-realization. And from that moment, she brings forth her very own FBA, a clever, talking black cat that she decides to name Sliver.
All right, Section 2, Forging the Bond. How does all this mystical soul-sharing stuff actually translate to the game mechanics? Well, the connection between you and your FBA is direct, it's tangible, and it is woven into pretty much every single dice roll.
This table really shows you just how deep that connection runs. Anytime Sliver the cat needs to do something, he's basically borrowing Samantha's stats. If he needs to, I don't know, force a window open, he's using her strength modifier. If he needs to sneak past a guard, he gets to use her full stealth skill bonus. And if a fireball is heading his way, he uses half of her reflex save bonus to try and dodge it. Your FBA is literally powered by your character.
And this is a really important point. Your FBA is a reflection of what you can do. It's not a walking toolbox of brand new skills. So if Samantha has no idea how to pick a lock, well, Sliver can't just magically do it for her. What you know, it knows. Simple as that.
Now we're getting to the really juicy, dramatic part of the system. Your FBA has its own will, right? And that will is shaped by your character's own alignment and personality. So, what happens when you tell it to do something that goes against its very nature? Which is, of course, your very nature.
That's when you have to make a conflict check. It's a DC 15 check, and you can use your charisma or intelligence. If you make the roll, you basically force your will on it. The FBA will obey you for 1 round. But that mental struggle takes a toll, and you get a -1 penalty on your next check. But if you fail, well, your FBA just says nope and does whatever it wants for a round. You actually, temporarily, lose control of a piece of your own soul.
Let's go back to Samantha and Sliver. Samantha is a good aligned character. Let's say she's in a desperate spot and orders Sliver to scratch an innocent person just to create a distraction. That would 100% trigger a conflict check. Because Sliver is a reflection of her good nature, and he would instinctively fight back against the idea of causing harm for no reason.
Okay, so creating an FBA is a huge deal for a character. And as you'd expect, it comes with some amazing power, but also a single, very significant risk. One that literally sends a ripple through the fabric of reality itself.
So let's look at the trade-off. The power comes from inherited feats. Your FBA gets to borrow some of your coolest abilities. The peril, though, is a one-time thing called a paradox check. I mean, you are pulling a piece of your soul out and giving it physical form. The Continuum is definitely going to notice that.
Let's break down that power. Your FBA pops into existence at power level 1, and right away, it gets to inherit one of your character's feats. Pretty cool, right? Then later, at power level 3, it gets to pick a second one. Now, there is a catch. The feat has to make logical sense for what your FBA is, and of course, the GM has the final say. This makes perfect sense with our example. Samantha has the evasion feat. Giving that to Sliver, a super nimble black cat, that's a no-brainer, but she couldn't give him something like heavy armor proficiency. I mean, a cat in plate mail? Psh, it just doesn't fit. It's all about enhancing what your FBA already is.
And now for the peril. The very moment you create your FBA, you have to make a one-time paradox check. The exact check depends on your class. This roll represents the universe kind of blinking and reacting to you externalizing a piece of your soul. It only happens once, but trust me, the consequences can be very interesting.
So you done it. You forged the bond, you got the power, you survived the paradox. Now what?
How does your FBA actually work day to day as you're out there exploring the continuum?
That soul bond has real, concrete effects in the game. Your FBA shares any environmental immunities you have, but it can still get stunned or blinded like anyone else. If you get knocked unconscious, that connection frays for a second, and your FBA loses its reaction for the round. And if you two get separated too far, that bond gets strained, and your ally just acts on pure instinct until you're back in range.
And that brings us to the biggest, and I think most important question of all. See, creating a fate-bound ally isn't just about getting a cool new ability. It's about holding a mirror up to your character. So when you finally get to create yours, what is that reflection going to show?